Dear Doc, my app said I'm still fertile 2 days after ovulation. Is there any slight chance of getting pregnant on your still fertile date? Because if you can, I'll be needing a lot of prayers now. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Sylvia, a GP and health educator with AskAwayHealth. I love talking about women's health issues in particular to teach you more about your bodies and just help you live better. Please go ahead and like my video and consider subscribing to the channel. This helps my channel grow and helps my videos get out to more people who really need to hear this kind of information. So one of my viewers sent in this question and I wanted to share it on a video because I know many other ladies are asking similar questions. So first, let's define a few gynecological terms. Yes, gynecological, that big word, it just means anything to do with a woman's body outside of pregnancy and childbirth. So before I go into answering that question and talking about gynecological terms, I want to know from you, which gynecological terms are most confusing? Which one has your doctor, your GP or your gynae dropped? And you thought, what on earth are they talking about? Menorrhagia, trophoblastic disease, hysterosalpingogram, and so on. Let me know, even if you can't remember the exact term, but you can remember what they were referring to, share it in the comments below, because we doctors need to do a lot better about expressing medical terms in simpler ways that non-medical people can understand. So the first one we're going to talk about today is the menstrual cycle. Your cycle is the time from one period to the next period. The first day of your period is what we generally refer to as the first day of your bleeding. Generally, your cycle, that is one period to another period, is split into two by ovulation. You have the pre or before ovulation half of the cycle. It's also known as the follicular phase. And you have the post-ovulatory or after ovulation phase of the cycle. This is also known as the luteal phase. So this is how your cycle goes. You go from menstruation, follicular phase, ovulation, and then luteal phase. Those are the four segments of a woman's menstrual cycle. The luteal phase of that cycle is then followed immediately by menstruation of the next cycle. Number 2, fertile window. Your fertile window is that time in your cycle when you are most likely to fall pregnant. It is usually about 5 days. That is, 5 days before the day you ovulate, plus the ovulation day, and some practitioners even add the day after ovulation because theoretically your egg can survive for 24 to 48 hours after ovulation. The time your fertile window happens and when your menstruation happens can be different from one woman to another. Number 3, ovulation day. So this is the day. Many women are either longing for this day or afraid of this day. But it is this day that your egg, which has been maturing up to this point, is released from one of your ovaries. It then travels down your fallopian tube into the rest of the womb. On its journey through the fallopian tube, it may become fertilized by sperm that is already present within your reproductive tract. If fertilization doesn't happen on that occasion, your egg will be shared with other parts of the womb lining as your menstrual period for the next month. Now, usually we say ovulation day is not a fixed day of the month, even for women with a regular period. So what I mean is that if you ovulated on the 14th of this month, even if you have a regular period, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to ovulate on the 14th of the next month or the 14th of the month after that. So it can vary from one woman to the next, depending on your hormones, which also depend on other factors, amongst which are stress, your diet, illness, medication, and so on. For women whose cycle is not regular, ovulation day can vary from one month to the next as well. And the next phrase I want to explore a bit is, when are you most likely and least likely to fall pregnant? This is the big one. Are there some times of the month when you are most likely to fall pregnant? Yes. We've talked about the fertile window. This is the time when it's most likely to happen if it was going to happen. But I can hear you say, but doctor, you said I only ovulate once, and that lasts a day or even 2 if the egg lives for 48 hours. So how can you say that I have a fertile window that is 5 or 6 days long? This is all down to the survival of sperm inside your womb. Sperm can survive for about 5 days after sex. So, assume you had sex 5 days before your ovulation day. Those guys are still swimming around in your womb, waiting for the egg to arrive. Therefore, pregnancy is still possible even though you had sex way before you had ovulated. Now, according to the UK Faculty of Sexual and Reproductive Health, pregnancy is extremely unlikely to occur as a result of unprotected sexual intercourse in the first 3 days of a natural menstrual cycle. That's during your menstrual period. That's when it's unlikely to occur. However, pregnancy is theoretically possible after sex on most days of the cycle. Theoretical. So this is what to know. There is a time of your cycle when you are most likely to fall pregnant. Ovulation day, the day after, but the 5 days before ovulation as well. That's your fertile window. And this brings me to the last term I want to look at in this video, which is fertility apps. These are helpful tools. You can download an app to help you plan or prevent pregnancy and help you keep track of your menstrual cycle and other symptoms like menopause or your mood. Apps collect information like when your period starts and ends, your basal body temperature, your type of bleeding, your bleeding pattern, your cervical mucus. And using this information, it can create customized information about your cycle that is useful. And most of these apps also provide useful information about women's health condition. I do recommend them to keep track of your cycle and events around it. But the apps are guides. They estimate when you are ovulating and your fertile window and your next period and so on. So for this question that we read at the beginning and whether we should be praying or not, my app said I'm still fertile 2 days after ovulation. Is there any slight chance of getting pregnant on my still fertile date? So recall the dates from the apps are estimates. At best, they give you a guide on whether or not you're ovulating on that day. Remember that from month to month, ovulation date can change depending on what's going on around you, stress, if you're unwell, any medication that you're taking, and so on, which the apps can't factor into their estimation. All this can even be trickier if you don't have a regular cycle. We've seen that pregnancy is most possible during a particular period of your cycle, the fertile window, but theoretically, it could happen on most days of your cycle, according to the Faculty of Sexual and Reproductive Health. And this is why we recommend if you're trying to prevent a pregnancy, you can take the emergency birth control pills or the calls at any point in time after unprotected intercourse during your cycle. And since your egg can survive for 12 to 24 hours, some authorities consider up to 48 hours after ovulation. That is why your app still considers you fertile 2 days after ovulation. So, there is a chance of pregnancy when your app shows that you're still fertile after ovulation. I hope you found this information helpful. Please let me know in the comment section below. Give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And here's a reminder that AskAwayHealth live streams are back every Friday morning. I'll be taking questions from my viewers across all platforms, YouTube and Facebook. So please send in your comments or questions. I might put them together in a video very soon. Next time, I'm going to be talking about why you get stressed after using an emergency contraceptive pill. Are you one of those who takes the pill and then shortly after you come into my comment section and start telling me that you're stressed and worried about pregnancy? That video is for you. While waiting for that to come out, check out these two here and I'll see you again soon.